Welcome to The Science of Dragons, a virtual adventure brought to you by the University of Limerick as part of Science Week 2024. We're excited to have you join us for a thrilling exploration of science and engineering, where both teachers and students will have the chance to participate. We hope you enjoy the experience.
Hello everybody, I'm Scientific Sue. Welcome to the Science of Dragons virtual experience. I'm so excited. This show is based on these books written by an author called Cressida Cowell. When I was reading these books, I realized that her dragons do some really crazy, amazing things, which need science and engineering to explain what's going on. Now, there's nothing in these books that mentions science or engineering. So what I've done is I've taken a few of the things that her dragons can do and a few of the things that her Vikings can do, and we're going to test them out, and we're going to find out whether she's just a really good storyteller or if she is a secret scientist. I want you all to enjoy this show as much as I enjoy performing it. Now, it's based on a young Viking called Hiccup Horrendous Haddock III and his young teenage friends who are training to be Vikings, fighting Vikings. And their job is to capture dragons, train dragons, and they're going to train them to protect them and also go to war. I think I need to dress like a Viking. There we go. As we go through the show, I am going to need some volunteers. So when you see this sign and hear this sound, you know your teacher is going to select one or two of you to help me out with the experiments. It is a virtual show, which is really good because it means you can pause the button, get things set up, and then start again. And then when everyone's going back to their seats, we can pause the button again and then restart when you're all ready to engage again. Now, I'm just going to clear this space. Before we can train a dragon, we're going to have to capture a dragon. So I thought I'm going to use some really cool physics to help me get a dragon that I'm going to build to fly. So first of all, don't be scared, it's just a pretend dragon. I've used 6 connecting balloons and I'm going to tie them together so it forms a nice little circle. Now, there's a scientist called Bernoulli. He discovered that when we get air moving fast, the gas molecules all spread out. So when it's moving fast, there's very few of them there. So if I can get the gas molecules here to go fast, I'm not going to have very many there. So the number of pushes here is going to be low. So we say that's low pressure, low force on this area. Down here, the air is going to be moving slower. So they're more packed together, which means on this area, many more will hit. So we're going to have a higher pressure. If I get a higher pressure, I can use that to push upwards into the low pressure. I don't think I'm going to have enough puff to blow over my balloon dragon, so I'm going to use a hairdryer. And I've got it angled like this. Let's see if I can use this science to get the dragon to fly. So I'm going to have to switch it on. It might be a little bit loud so we can cover our ears. Aimed at an angle. 3, 2, 1. Woohoo! We've got a flying dragon. The next thing, we have to knock it out of the sky. Unfortunately, when Hiccup did this, he damaged the dragon, so he had to use lots of engineering to be able to fix his dragon. And he used a catapult. Well, I didn't have the knowledge of how to make a catapult, but I do know how to make a bazooka rocket launcher out of plumbing parts. So I've got a T-junction there, and what we're going to do is we're going to attach this, wait for it, to a vacuum cleaner. So that's going to push in there, da, 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 da. When I put the vacuum cleaner on, it's going to suck air in. So let's have a little test first of all. I'm going to put card there. Uh-oh, no sucking motion, and it falls to the ground. But if I put the vacuum cleaner on now, ta-da! This one. Oh, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to put a rocket into my rocket launcher. I'm going to cover the end, put in my rocket, and cover that end. I'm going to go 3, 2, 1, and then I'm going to release this end here. As soon as I do that, the air is going to get sucked in, and as it gets sucked in, it's going to push my rocket forwards, and it's going to go forwards like this and hopefully hit here. Shall we see if that works? Let me cover the ends, switch it on. 3, 2, 1. Boom! I just love science and technology because we can make crazy, crazy demos. Now I'm going to repeat that, but this time I'm going to aim it at my dragon. Let me get the dragon flying again. In goes the rocket, on goes the ends. 3, 2, 1. Oh my goodness! It was still flying. Oh my word! That was a strong dragon. It was still flying even though it got hit by that projectile. Wow, I love that demo. In both the book and the film, Hiccup is bullied, mainly by his cousins, but he has a friend, and his friend is the most intelligent of all the young Vikings and is the best fighter. Do any of you know the name of this Viking? Da, 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 da. I've got her hidden here. Yes, it is! No, not Elsa. It's Astrid. In the books, she's called Kamikaze, but in the film, she's called Astrid. And Astrid is a great fighter. It's very difficult to knock her off her feet. Now, we've got a dragon here. Okay, this is Meatlug. And we're going to train Meatlug to try to knock her off her feet. And to do this, we're going to be using a film canister and the film canister's lid. The tablets, so I've got some tablets here. The tablets, when they go into water, citric acid and baking soda mix to produce a gas. So when we put it in there, unlike a balloon, which will stretch when we make a gas, inside here, start clapping, faster, 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 and stop! The gas is being made and it's pushing in all directions, and it will eventually push with such a force, it will separate the lid from the tube. So I've done a little bit of engineering, and we now have our dragon that is going to be able to create gas in its stomach. It's going to put rocks into its mouth, and it's going to be able to fire these rocks at Astrid, and we're going to try to knock Astrid off of her feet. Oh, yes! Woo-hoo-hoo! We only had push and Astrid was able to fall over. Oh! Who knew that these vitamin C canisters were so much fun? It's time to do some more experimentation. Right, get ready. Cressida Cowell has got a very moody dragon. This dragon changes colour. Now this dragon can sometimes be yellow. What mood do you think it would be if it's yellow? Happy. I think happy would be a good one. Oh, hang on a minute. What happens if the dragon is feeling sick? What colour could it be? Yeah, well, but we're going to say it's going to be green. Did anyone say green? Very good. Very good. I'm putting some chemicals in here because I'm trying to see if we can recreate some of these colour changes. Uh-oh! I'm going to need a volunteer. No, I'm going to need 2 volunteers. Pause the video, get your volunteers up. We're going to be using tray 1, and when you're ready to start, press play again. Welcome, volunteers. Now, volunteers 1 and 2, you have a beaker. It could be a little jug, it could be a plastic beaker, but it's got to be see-through. And what I'd like you to do is you're going to put a spoonful of baking soda. So this is going to be you, volunteer number 1. A spoonful of baking soda into your beaker. Volunteer number 2, you are going to be putting a spoonful of citric acid into your beaker. There we go. And I would like you to top them up so the beaker is half filled with water. And then using your stirrers, you are going to stir them up. There we go. Fantastic. Now, your teacher has managed to get hold of some dragon's drool from this colour changing dragon. And you will find there's going to be a pot ready for you to pour into your beakers. So volunteer number 2, you are going to show me a face that's going to represent the colour that you make. So get your dragon's drool and pour it into your beaker. Everybody, what colour has it gone? Okay, volunteer number 2. Now all of you, show me an angry face. Fantastic, that was really good. Okay, volunteer number 1. What colour do you think you're going to get? Get ready to give us the face. Okay, pour it in, pour it in. What colour did you get? Oh, let's see if I get the same colour. Did you get blue? Okay, what emotion is blue? Oh, we all feeling sad. Great, now we had our baking soda and our citric acid. Inside here, I had some caustic soda, and when I add my cabbage juice, oh, I get a very pale green. And when I stir it, like magic, it turns to yellow. So show me a happy face, everybody. Big cheesy grin. And then when I add it to washing soda, uh-oh, I get green. Right, I want us to be able to make purple. So this is where it might get a bit messy. So volunteer number 1 and 2, we're going to need a tray. So you're going to have a tray in front of you, and you're going to have to put on some safety glasses because there might be some splashes. There's going to be a spare beaker in front of you. Let's get rid of all of that water. A spare beaker in front of you, and I want you both to pour into the beaker at the same time. Now everybody in the class, watch for the colour change. Oh! we didn't just get a colour change. Did you see and hear all of those bubbles being made? We're going to come back to those bubbles later. So what we had then with baking soda, we got blue, and with our citric acid we were able to get red, and when we mixed them together we were able to get our purple. Can you think of any other animals that change colour? And while you're thinking about that, give our volunteers a big round of applause, pause the video, remove tray 1 to the side, and once you're ready to start, press the video again. It was quite easy for us to organise a colour changing dragon, and that dragon's drool was actually cabbage juice. Purple cabbage juice that comes from a red cabbage. How weird is that? Well, now we know when we add it to an acid, it turns red. And when you used to pick all of these cabbages years ago when there was no refrigeration, they used to pickle them in vinegar to keep them over the winter time, and they turned red, and that's why we called them red cabbage. So in that last set of experiments, we managed to get purple, yellow, green, blue, and red. In this one here, we've got pink. So hidden in the water, I had another indicator. It's got a really weird name. It's called phenolphthalein. And whenever it's in an alkali solution, we get this lovely pink colour. So in here I have my washing soda solution. The gas that we made in the last experiment was called carbon dioxide. We made loads of it, and scientists can squash this gas so that it fits into a smaller space. But when they do that, it changes from a gas into a solid, but also gets very cold. So what we've got here is some dry ice. And when I add it into here, so imagine this is going to be a lovely pink dragon. And then that dragon, not only can it breathe smoke, look at that, it goes invisible. And maybe there's special rocks that it can lick, which allows it to go back to pink, and then it can use another chemical and it then goes back to being invisible. But we can find chemicals which appear to disappear. How are you going to do this in the classroom? Because you don't have dry ice. Oh! I'm gonna need another volunteer. Pause the video and get tray 2 ready. Welcome back. You should have a lovely colourful image of Puff the Magic Dragon, and you will have a pack of 6 friction pens. They come in 6s and 12s. Maybe some of you have these pens already. We're also going to need a bag of salt and a bag of ice and a hairdryer. And of course, my 2 volunteers. So volunteer number 1, first of all, I want you to hold up the picture of Puff so that everybody in the classroom can see it. And then volunteer number 2, I want you to get the hairdryer, switch it on, and I want you to move the hairdryer over the image of Puff. Do that now. Number 1, keep turning it so everybody in the class can see what's happening. Aha, the heat energy has made Puff disappear. How can we make him reappear? Okie dokie, so let's put Puff down for the moment. So volunteer number 1, I want you to hold the bag of ice open, and volunteer number 2, you are going to pour your salt on top of the ice. And while they're doing that, I've got a little thermometer here. And using my thermometer, I'm going to take the temperature of my ice, and it is 3 degrees, 3.6 degrees. When the salt goes onto the ice, so what I want you to do, number one, I want you to start mixing that salt into the ice. It is going to get cold, so you're going to need gloves or paper tissues or a paper towel to make sure that you don't hold the bag. It has just been in there for a few seconds and the temperature has gone down to -13. Temperature of a freezer is -18. We now need to bring Puff back. The good thing about dry ice is it's dry. I can put it on top of my dragon and it changes from a solid into a gas. There is no water phase. But unfortunately, you don't have dry ice at home. With your gloves on and the bag sealed, one of you hold the pitcher up. Look, already started to come, and very gently pat him with the ice. And we will start to see him reappearing again. Inside the ink, there are solid particles of acid. And when you use the rubber, right, everybody, even my volunteers, take your gloves off, put everything down, rub your hands together and go faster and faster and faster and faster. The friction, did you feel the heat energy? That heat energy melts the acid, turns into a liquid, it reacts with an alkaline there, and just like we have with the phenolphthalein, it becomes invisible. And then when we cool it down, that liquid solidifies again, and we can then see the color of the pen that we used. Okay, so put everything back onto tray 2. We're going to give our volunteers a big round of applause and pause the video and start the video again when you're ready. I'd like to introduce you to Norbert. Now, Cressida Cowell had a dragon that was able to breathe out fog. So I'm wondering, can we create a dragon that can do the same thing? So I'm putting it in my dry ice into some warm water. Oh, crazy pressure here. And then we have got a dragon that breathes out fog. And bubbles. We've got all this fog here, and as it breathes, it can have pressure here and have a dragon party blowing bubbles. Uh-oh. Yes, I'm going to need another volunteer. So while I'm clearing Norbert away, I'd like you to pause the video, and when you're ready to start again. Welcome back. So in front of you, you should have a bottle, a clear bottle with some colouring in it. And we've got a measuring jug, and we should have 60 millilitres of our hydrogen peroxide. Safety glasses have to be on. So I'm going to measure that out. You might be lucky enough to have it already measured out for you. Now, there's also going to be a small beaker with about 10 millilitres of warm water in it. And you're going to need to get a small spoon and add a small amount of your yeast into the water. And then we have to stir for 30 seconds. So while the volunteer is stirring, can you all start to count? Count down from 25. Let's go. 25, 24. While you're counting, I'm going to light the candle, and your teacher is going to do the same thing. Is that 30 seconds? Great stuff. Now, volunteer. I want you to use the funnel and very carefully pour the hydrogen peroxide into the funnel. Hydrogen peroxide is made up of two different types of building blocks, hydrogen and oxygen. And it really doesn't like being in this form. It likes to be able to split into water and oxygen. And to do this, we are going to use some yeast. But at the moment, it's going to be a little bit boring. So we're going to add some washing up liquid into the mouth of our dragon. There we go. We are going to make a vomiting dragon. I know. Now, it can be green vomit, it can be blue vomit, whatever color vomit you want your dragon to have. Again, using the funnel, I want my volunteer to pour the yeast into that mixture and then take this away. And oh my goodness, our dragon has been sick. Look at this mess. Oh, and can you see we've got a little bit of heat energy there as well. Oh my word, he's been sick everywhere. Look at that. And these bubbles are filled with the gas called oxygen. So let's give my volunteer a big round of applause, pause the video, and wait, I'm going to need another volunteer. So when the next volunteer is in place, you can start the video again. And off. Welcome back again. We're going to be using the same chemicals, but this time we're not going to use any colouring and we're not going to use any washing up liquid. You might have been wondering why the candle was lit. It is for this experiment. So we need to add a very small amount of yeast into a small amount of water. And how long do we have to stir it for? Exactly 30 seconds. Again. Now, safety glasses have to go on, and we're going to pour about 15, so 1 tablespoon of our hydrogen peroxide onto our yeast. Again, we're going to make that foam. Oh, here it goes. And the foam's going to go over the top, so it's on a tray to catch all those drips. My volunteer, you've got a wooden taper. And what I want you to do with your glasses on, so I put my glasses back on again, very carefully put the tip of the wooden taper into the candle flame. Then blow it out. And it should, when you blow on it, blow red. Very gently touch one of the bubbles at the side. Do that now. What just happened there? I'm going to have to do that now. And when we touch, blow it out again and retouch. This is the test for oxygen gas. This is the gas that is released when hydrogen peroxide decomposes into water and the gas called oxygen. So do that one more time. And then everybody's going to give you a big round of applause. Yay! Pause the video. Welcome back. You might wonder, why were we making that gas? Well, in one of the stories, we have all the young Vikings. They have caught their fish. They're about to cook it for tea, but they have to wait for all the adults to use the fire first. And then by the time they were cooking, oh my goodness, there was no fire left. They just had the burning embers. But one of the Vikings has this dragon that breathes out this invisible gas, which makes the fire relight, and then it makes the fire burn even more brightly. Cressida Cowell doesn't say that it is oxygen, but that's the gas. But sometimes fires can get out of control. So what are you going to do if you have all of your houses on fire because of a fire-breathing dragon? Well, Cressida Cowell has got another dragon that produces a gas which is heavy, which will then flow downhill and cover the fires and put the fires out. Oh, I'm gonna need another volunteer. Pause the video, and when you're ready to start again, press the play button. Welcome back. We're going to need our 500 ml bottle. You can have it decorated with dragon eyes if you wish. And into that, we are going to squirt some vinegar up until the section here where it starts to dip in. If we don't have vinegar, we can use our citric acid. So it's going to be 1 tablespoon of citric acid is going to go in there, and then you're going to top it up with water so it's at that same level. We want to make this gas carbon dioxide. Your teacher has put some baking soda into the balloon. So now volunteer very, very carefully, stretch the balloon so that it goes over the neck of the bottle and push down, not letting any of the powder going in, okay? Now, what I'm going to do is I'm going to put a little bit of my citric acid in here, and I'm going to put a little bit of my baking soda in here so that we can see the reaction using both the citric acid and the vinegar. So volunteer very carefully. Oh, you have to put your safety glasses on, Uh-oh. Very carefully lift up the balloon, holding it on the table. Oh my goodness, look. We have got a gas being made. We're making that gas carbon dioxide. And the balloon is getting bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. It is expanding. Phew, and thankfully it didn't explode. And now if I just add the water a little bit at a time into here, I'm going to make that same gas. The teacher is going to light the candle for you. And while they're doing that, I want you to very carefully remove the balloon from the bottle. Make sure all the powder is in the bottle, and tie it off, because I'm going to be using this later and you might want to do the same experiment. Whoa, look at this big heavy gas. So we're going to put that to the side. Very carefully now, lift up your bottle, keep the candle on the table. I'm just going to lift this up just for the camera, and you're going to keep the bottle close to the flame, and it goes out. This gas, carbon dioxide, is a heavy gas. Let's relight that candle. Okay, and I want you to do that all over again. So in the last experiment then, we had yeast and hydrogen peroxide making the gas oxygen, and in this experiment we're making the gas called carbon dioxide. If I light a splint and blow it out, I can get it to relight, put it in the carbon dioxide, it goes out. So volunteer, using your bottle for the last time, pour it over the candle, and everybody's going to give you a big round of applause, and you're going to go back to your seat. So our two gases then, oxygen relights a glowing splint, carbon dioxide will extinguish it. Oxygen will relight it, carbon dioxide will extinguish it. Stop the video, move the tray to the side, and when you're ready, press the start button. As we went through the show, then we've been looking at various gases. One of the gases was carbon dioxide. Is carbon dioxide a fuel? Will it explode? No. Another gas that we've been using to get explosions though is the gas called oxygen. And that's in this balloon. Is oxygen on its own mixed in the air explosive? No, that's just the balloon bursting. But this gas, this is a gas that dragons can make, and it makes them lighter than air. And this could possibly be one of the gases that allows dragons to float upwards, but also breathe fire. Oh my goodness! Let's see that one again. Many canisters that we have at home contain a gas called butane. So I've got a dragon that has a lung full of butane. Now, in How to Train a Dragon, on page 200, in the mouth of the dragon, Hiccup has been swallowed by the dragon, and he has noticed two small holes in the back of the throat of the dragon. And as we go through the story, Cressida Cowell then explains how the gases are lit. Unfortunately, we are coming to the end of the show, so we're going to have to finish with some fire. I'm going to switch the lights off, and we're hopefully going to see some more amazing science. Lights are now down. This dragon here eats lots and lots and lots of plants, but inside its tummy it's got lots of chemicals which turn it into alcohol, and that alcohol, when it's heated, is turned again into a gas. So I'm wondering, can we use alcohol gas to be able to produce a fire breathing dragon? Remember at the beginning I was saying Cressida Cowell tells fantastic stories. Well, we are about to find out. Is she really just a storyteller or an amazing secret scientist? 3, 2, 1. Wow! Woo-hoo! Now, I'm going to do something else. I've got liquid fuel here. She has dragons also spitting out liquid fuels which burn. But what I want to do is I want to see if we can recreate the fire type of Typhoomerang. It's a fantastic dragon. Typhoomerang has spiraling fire. It's a fire tornado. Is it possible to get a fire tornado? I've got a spinning plate here. I'm hoping that once we get this liquid fuel burning and then spinning, that's not a fire tornado. Now, in the book, her dragon swoops down and forms a vortex of moving air, and it then flies down and breathes up into that vortex. So let us get a column, a fixed column, and let us see what happens now. Wow! Look at this! My goodness, Cressida doesn't mention the science, but she definitely knows her science. So we've managed to create 2 types of fire-breathing dragons. I'm going to switch the lights back on. I so hope you have all really enjoyed the show. I would like you now to give a huge round of applause for all the volunteers that have helped me, and I hope you continue with your science studies and look at the world around us and find out how amazing it truly is. Now, this dragon eats wheat, barley, corn, and when it goes into the tummy, there are rocks. It also eats rocks, and the rocks are warm. And those warm rocks dries out all of those cereals, and we end up with powder. Now remember, Cressida has always written about the fact that at the back of the throats of dragons are 2 small holes. And from those 2 small holes, there are small explosions. And those explosions are going to give us the heat energy for the fuel that we are going to use. So we just saw gas was explosive. We saw that we could burn liquid fuels. Now I have the flour. Flour made from corn. And we're going to feed this to our dragon. Our dragon is going to breathe it into the air, and I am going to touch it with the flame. So you can imagine the flame is in the back of its throat. Are we going to be able to finish the show with a fire-breathing dragon? I so hope so. I'm going to bend down for this one. Move this out of the way. Get our fire started. So everybody, let's have a countdown from 3. Here we go. 3. Scientific Sue, you have just seen and been involved with the Virtual Science of Dragons show. Thank you all so very much. Bye!